This is a short YouTube of my own horse Woodstock, who I've had his whole life. I did a lot of showing and competing when he was younger. He's now 26 years old, and I still work him 2 or 3 times a week in an effort just to keep him supple and flexible, give me somebody to play with and have a little bit of fun on him. He's a really nice, obedient, big horse, and tends to be sometimes a little bit lazy and can get a little behind my leg. So what I'm doing here, I'm at the beginning of a working session with him. I always start him off in rising trot after I've gone for a short trail ride around, and as I work him in the rising trot, what I'm thinking about is how he's moving forward. Is he relaxed? Is he moving in a rhythm? Is that rhythm one that he can work forward at? If he's a little too hurried, the steps become short and quick. If he's a little too slow, then he never really engages his hind legs. What I do is I ride through a variety of large changes of rein. And for this YouTube, I'm actually riding him in a 20 by 40 arena, which is fairly small, but I find that by working the horses once a week or twice a week in a short court arena, it really helps them to balance and to engage from behind. I spend time working through some changes of rein where I'll change the aids, then his bend, then my diagonal, and then lastly, if necessary, I would change the stick over. I want to make sure that he is truly in front of my leg and that he's working up from behind into my hand rather than coming back from my hand. Once I've trotted for a few minutes around in both directions, I'll move him up into canter. And in the canter, again, I want to feel a definite 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's almost like a little bit of a waltz. And in the canter, there should be a slight pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. Because as the horse develops, that pause is actually the flying change. I'll ride 1 or 2 transitions into canter left and then into canter right. And I might think in my working to do a little bit of counter-canter. Counter-canter is not a collecting exercise, it's a suppling exercise, which really will help him move more through his shoulders. The first counter-canters I'll ride will be fairly small loops down the long sides of the arena, and then I may take that loop and move it down the centre line. Depends what he can do. And then I might even try to change the rein and keep the canter. The important thing in my counter-canter is that I keep him as straight as I possibly can and 2 good corners. My first loops are small. He struggles a little bit there. So I need a little bit of right leg to say, "Come, you can do it." Let's see what he does on the other rein. So I'll do a little turn on the haunches, keeping the bend to the left. I'll change the bend to the right and pick up canter. He's very obedient. In my canter to the right, I want to make sure that he's on my outside rein. My outside rein controls the amount of bend and controls the pace. Good boy, well done. As I warm up, my corners become a little bit deeper and I end up with a good few strides straight on my short side. Can you make the turn? He comes in a little bit too much for me that time, so I just rebalance him on the outside rein and perhaps ride that same counter-canter loop down the centre line. Now he has no support from the outer edge. I make that second corner and think of power onto that outside rein to make my corner.